The teachers laughed when little Maya said her mother was a Navy SEAL. They stopped laughing when the woman in combat boots walked through that classroom door. It started during career day at Riverside Elementary, in a sun-bleached classroom that smelled of chalk dust and broken promises. 8-year-old Maya Rodriguez stood at the front of the room, clutching a framed photograph against her chest like a shield. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the kind of pride that burns so bright it hurts to contain. The picture showed a woman in full military gear, desert sand swirling behind her, eyes sharp as flint beneath her helmet. "My mom is a Navy SEAL," Maya announced, her voice small but unwavering. "She protects our country." The classroom erupted, not with applause or curiosity, but with something uglier. Snickers rippled through the rows of desks. Tommy Henderson, the class bully with his father's smirk and his mother's cruel tongue, started it. "Girls can't be SEALs. Stupid. You're a liar." Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening to Maya's story unfold. Mrs. Peterson, a veteran teacher with 20 years of routine dulling her instincts, should have intervened. Instead, she sighed with the exhaustion of someone who'd stopped fighting small injustices years ago. "Maya, honey, maybe you misunderstood what your mother does. Women serve in many important roles, but my mom is a SEAL." Maya's voice cracked, tears pooling in her dark eyes, threatening to spill. She held the photograph higher, as if its truth could somehow penetrate the disbelief surrounding her like fog. "She completed Hell Week. She saves people. She's a hero." The laughter grew louder. Someone threw a crumpled paper ball. It bounced off Maya's shoulder and rolled across the linoleum floor. And in that moment, something inside the little girl fractured. Not broke. Maya Rodriguez was her mother's daughter, forged from stronger stuff but fractured, just enough to let the doubt seep in through the cracks. Mrs. Peterson made her decision then, the kind that seems small in the moment but echoes forever. "Maya, I think it's best if you sit down. Perhaps we can discuss this with the principal. We don't tolerate dishonesty in this classroom." The word hung in the air like smoke after gunfire. Dishonesty. Maya's face went pale. She walked toward the door on legs that felt disconnected from her body, past the rows of pointing fingers and whispered insults, past Tommy's triumphant grin, past the teacher who couldn't be bothered to believe her. The photograph slipped from her fingers and clattered to the floor, glass spiderwebbing across her mother's face. She ran down the hallway lined with cheerful bulletin boards proclaiming every child matters, past the principal's office where achievement certificates hung in proud rows, out the front doors and into the parking lot where the September sun fell too bright, too indifferent to the injustice burning in her chest. What Maya didn't know, what no one in that classroom knew, was that Lieutenant Commander Sofia Rodriguez was already on her way. She'd taken leave specifically for career day, driving 3 hours from the naval base in her dusty pickup truck, still wearing her uniform because Maya had begged her to, so everyone can see. Sofia pulled into the parking lot 17 minutes after her daughter fled the building. She noticed Maya immediately, curled up behind the bike racks, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. A mother's instinct kicked in before military training. She was running before her truck door fully closed, boots pounding pavement, heart hammering against her ribs. "Mija, what happened?" The story tumbled out between hiccuping breaths. Sofia's jaw tightened with each word, a muscle twitching near her temple the way it did before dangerous missions. When Maya finished, Sofia stood slowly, helping her daughter to her feet with hands that could assemble a rifle in darkness, but trembled now with barely contained fury. "Take me to your classroom." They walked through those doors together, mother and daughter, moving with identical determined strides. The hallway seemed to narrow round them, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like a warning alarm only they could hear. Sofia's uniform was dusty from the drive, her boots scuffed from countless operations, but she wore them like armor, each ribbon and medal a testament to battles fought and won. The classroom door was still open. Mrs. Peterson was halfway through another student's presentation about their accountant father. When Sofia Rodriguez appeared in the doorway, the room fell. Silent. It wasn't gradual, it was immediate, absolute, the kind of silence that precedes earthquakes. 23 pairs of eyes locked onto the woman in uniform, onto the trident insignia gleaming on her chest, onto the face that was unmistakably Maya's, aged by sun and sacrifice and the weight of secrets she'd never tell. Sofia didn't announce herself. She walked to the front of the classroom with the controlled precision of someone who'd kicked down doors in Kandahar, who'd swum 5 miles in open ocean at midnight, who'd earned the right to wear that uniform through pain most people couldn't imagine. She reached down and picked up Maya's photograph from where it still lay, brushed the glass fragments away with calloused fingers, and set it carefully on Mrs. Peterson's desk. "I'm Lieutenant Commander Sofia Rodriguez," she said, her voice carrying the quiet authority that makes people listen without needing to be loud. "United States Navy SEAL. And that's my daughter standing there, who you accused of being a liar." Mrs. Peterson's face drained of color. She tried to speak, mouth opening and closing like a fish drowning in air. Tommy Henderson's smirk had vanished entirely. Sofia pulled out her military identification, her completion certificate from basic underwater demolition, SEAL training, photographs of her team in combat zones that made the classroom walls feel suddenly too cheerful, too naive. She spread them across the teacher's desk like evidence in a trial. "Women have been serving in SEAL teams since 2016, Sofia continued, her eyes sweeping across every child's face, making sure they understood. "We train just as hard. We fight just as hard. We die just as hard. And when my daughter tells you who her mother is, she's telling you the truth, the kind of truth that should be celebrated, not punished." The silence stretched longer. Someone coughed. A chair scraped against linoleum. Mrs. Peterson finally found her voice, strangled and small. I didn't know. I apologize. You should have believed her." Sofia's voice carried no malice now, only disappointment, which somehow cut deeper. "That's what teachers do. They believe in their students, especially when those students are telling the truth about things that matter." She turned to the class then, her expression softening slightly. "My daughter loves this school. She talks about you all at dinner, tells me about projects and games, and the friends she makes. Today, you taught her that being different, being from a family that serves, makes her a target. I hope that's not the lesson you want to carry forward." Tommy Henderson's hand shot up, shaking slightly. Sofia nodded at him. "I'm sorry, Maya." His voice cracked with genuine remorse, the kind that only comes when heroes confront you with your own cruelty. "Your mom is really cool, the coolest." One by one, other hands rose. Apologies tumbled out, sincere and stammering. Mrs. Peterson had tears in her eyes now, the kind that come from recognizing your own failure reflected back at you. Sofia knelt beside Maya, pulling her daughter close. "You were brave today, Mija, braver than you know. Truth doesn't become less true just because people refuse to believe it." The bell rang eventually, but no one moved. The moment held them suspended, transformed. Sofia spent the next hour answering questions about training, about missions she could discuss, about what it means to serve when people assume you can't. She showed the kids her compass, her dive watch, the dog tag she wore under her uniform. She made them laugh with stories of survival training gone wrong, made them think with careful explanations of duty and sacrifice. When she finally left, the classroom felt different, bigger somehow, full of possibilities that hadn't existed. Before lunch, Maya kept that photograph, cracked glass and all, on her desk at home. Sometimes Sofia would find her daughter staring at it, running her fingers along the fracture lines that now seemed less like damage and more like proof of survival. Because truth doesn't shatter when people doubt it, it waits, patient and unbreakable, for the moment when it can finally be seen. And when that moment comes, it changes everything. The real heroes aren't just the ones who wear uniforms. They're the 8-year-olds who stand in front of classrooms, clutching their truth like a shield, refusing to let the world make them small. If Maya's story moved you, drop a comment below. Tell me about a time you had to fight for your truth. And if you believe every child deserves to be heard, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started with stories that matter.